black or white, male or female, rich or poor, gay or straight. What's the difference? Number 14 and number 41 are on a mission to improve the unity of the world, one person at a time. Welcome to the 14 and 41 Unity Show.
Hello, I'm Alexis Hornbuckle, number 14.
And I'm Matt Gersper, number 41.
And I'm Khari Jones, number 17. And we're different, but made from the same stuff.
Right on. So before we get started, I'd like to take a moment to dedicate this episode to the original Unity partners. The great Gail Sayers, who wore number 40, passed to the other side yesterday. And his great friend, Brian Piccolo, number 41, died 50 years earlier with Gail at his bedside. They were the very first black and white teammates in the National Football League assigned to be roommates back in 1967. Legendary coach George Halas said Gail was the perfect choice for such a unity move because of his quiet wisdom and integrity. Rest in peace, number 40 and number 41. Welcome, Khari. 14 and I are super excited to have you on the 14 and 41 Unity Show, broadcasting from WYTV7 in the Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina. So welcome, and just take a few minutes, tell our audience about the good things you're doing as a head coach of the Montreal Alouettes, or as an ambassador for Living Works, or as a family man, or you take the next couple of minutes and let us know what's going on in your world.
Yeah, well, first off, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here and talk to you guys. You pretty much mentioned it all. I've been up here in Canada for a long time. I'm from California and went to UC Davis and had a great little career there, and then ended up in Canada. And so I got a chance to play 11 years professionally and 9 in Canada and as a quarterback. And now I've been coaching for going on 12, 13 years, I think. And I'm fortunate enough to be the head coach of the Montreal Alouettes. We had a very good season in 2019. Unfortunately, we're paused because of COVID-19 for this season, but we'll be ready to go next year. And in the meantime, I'm doing a lot of different things with Living Works, which is a suicide prevention company that I've partnered with, and just being an ambassador for them has been great. I do some acting. I do a little bit of everything, but mainly here with my family. I have 2 daughters. One is just starting university this year. From home, unfortunately, but she's handling it well. And my other daughter's in 10th grade, and so me and my wife Justine, we're blessed.
Take us back about 10 years. What was your main things you were doing then?
Oh my goodness, 10 years. What was that? Well, that was about the beginning of my coaching career. I'd retired from football in 2005. I did some broadcasting for a few years, and then I started coaching up here with the Hamilton Tiger Cats in 2009, and it was great. It was a good transition for me. I loved still being around football. I felt like I had things to give players, and yeah, it was a good time. So my family kind of moved with me all these places, which I really thank them for. So we've lived all over Canada. We've lived in Regina, Saskatchewan. We've lived in Hamilton. We've lived in Calgary and Winnipeg. Now we're in Vancouver area. So it's been a nice ride.
Well, 2 things. I noticed you've been in Canada a long time, because in your Unity story, you spelled neighborhood wrong.
That is how that's my spell check now. It's a Canadian spell check. It's color, neighborhood. They got that U in there. So I knew it. I was trying to look too. It's funny.
And the other thing is, as I was doing a little bit of research on you, I got to see you and the guys in the locker room and your locker room speeches, and man, I got goosebumps, and I thought, I'm almost 60 years old, but I felt like I was ready to play again, Khari. So let me talk to you. let me toss it over to you, Alexis.
Khari, thank you again for joining us. I know Matt already thank you, but thank you. And just your story, I can't wait till you share a couple nuggets a little later on. But I want to know, what is your initial response when you first heard about Rafroot? And then what do you think about like our website, the team gear, and what are your hopes by sharing your Unity story with us to help our mission of improving the Unity one person at a time?
Yeah, well, first off, no, it's really good to meet you, and I read your story as well, and I thought it was fantastic. So, no, when I first heard of Rafru, I thought, what a cool thing initially, just because it is about unity, and that's been my biggest issue with everything, is trying to see how we come together as people, regardless of race or political party or whatever it is, just trying to find the common differences with people. And that's I think what you and Matt have is fantastic, because you're doing that through sports and talking about it through sports. And so that's been my life for so many years, is just trying to find out how we can come together as a team, either as a player or as a coach. Mm-hmm. And so no, I'm really loving what you guys are doing, and I'm really happy to be a part of it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you in that Rafroot gear too.
Nice. I will have
take
it.
A look. There you go.
Yeah, you see the
I
logo.
love it.
See the
Look
logo
at that.
behind me. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Awesome. So you wrote an inspiring Unity story, and it was about the power of team to prevail. So just share a few highlights, if you would. Not too much, just enough that our audience will rush to read it right after the show. And if you would, maybe just share the top 1 or 2 messages that you hope to convey to everyone who reads it.
Yeah. Well, first off, let me say how tough it was to write it, just because there were so many different things and so many different angles that I wanted that I thought of about coming at. And so I added a lot of different elements throughout my life, starting from, earliest times of just starting out with football and the unity that we had on those teams, and going to high school and first time that I realized, being a black quarterback was a little different than being a white quarterback. And so that whole kind of thing kind of comes through a little bit. And then, through college, through being the first black quarterback at UC Davis, and then playing professionally. So there's a lot of different little stories in there. I think the biggest thing for me is there's a common theme throughout all of those stories, and that I've been on a lot of successful teams, and the reason I think that we were successful goes beyond just the athletic ability or being able to jump higher, run faster, anything like that. We believed in each other, and we had that common element that brought us all together. And that's what I try to give now as a coach, and I've learned that through a lot of different coaches over the years, and a lot of players that I've played with, and so I try to pass it on to the people that I coach now, and it's great to be in this position to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm. So first of all, just a comment. You were the first black quarterback at UC Davis, but that wasn't enough for you. You apparently needed to paint your shoes gold as well, just to call more attention to the fact, I guess.
I know, I did. And it's so funny because I'm not like a flashy guy or anything. Yeah, I'm not like a Deion Sanders. I didn't have that, but I wanted to kind of make my presence felt and say, you know what, this is me. I'm out here. And it was just something that clicked in my head. And this was everybody else was painting their shoes gold. I'm like, I would get out there with a can of spray paint before every game, day before, spray them up, feel good. And I'm like, okay, I can't suck if I got gold shoes on. I have to be a baller. And so that kind of motivated me to say, all right, let's go. And I knew they were going to be after me, and I was going to have a bullseye in my head. And I was like, well, why not? Let's make the bullseye even bigger and go for it.
I love it. So one more question. This is about the process of writing your story. So what's been your experience since you started thinking about it? When I asked you to write it, you started thinking about it. Then you actually started putting pen to paper, and now reflecting back on your long journey as an athlete and a coach. So what's been your experience, your feelings in deciding to share this particular Unity story with the world?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, so from the start, like when you asked and kind of brought the idea to me, I loved it, but it, like I said, it was very difficult because I just couldn't feel what way to approach it, and so it took me quite a while to actually put pen to paper and say, okay, let me write this down. But I had all of these ideas and all of these thoughts, and you know, like I said, from earliest on to later, and I couldn't just decide on one story, so I ended up going with a lot of them, but I found that common theme and I found that common thread throughout the stories, and it was pretty cool to write it, just because I hadn't revisited some of those earlier moments for quite a while, and so yeah, I thought it was almost cathartic for me to just to kind of go through it and say, oh, this was pretty cool. This did happen, you know, when I first started playing, and these things did go on, but it was okay, you know, and we got through it. And so no, it was a great kind of feeling, and I thank you for allowing me to share it, because I think it's pretty cool.
It's a great story, folks. I can't wait for you to read it and get it out there in the world. So thank you, Khari, for writing it.
Oh, appreciate it.
So now we're going to take a commercial break and tell everyone about three things: a super amazing health device called Zona Plus, how to get a $50 discount online, and how their purchase will support a big donation for WYTV7. Mr. Happy Living here. I love good things made by good people. That's why I love Zona Plus, the world's first software-controlled handheld device that improves cardiovascular health. You're going to love it too. I use mine almost every day to keep my blood pressure right where it should be. What surprised me, though, is this little device has been adding muscle to my biceps too. I walk around all day feeling pumped. Check them out at Zona.com. Use coupon code HAPPY for $50 off. Plus, for every order placed during the month of October, I'll donate another $50 to WYTV7.
Welcome back, everybody. I definitely want to give a huge shout out to our October sponsors, Zona Plus and also Happy Living. Khari, we're going to jump right back into this thing. So how have the lessons you learned as an athlete, in particular the unity lessons, helped you to become a better, more successful person?
Oh man, well, I think I've just taken the lessons from football and from, well, every sport that I've played, and from the coaches that I've had. I've taken them all throughout life, and so and like I say, I'm interested in a lot of different things. I love sports, but I've owned a couple businesses. I've done some acting. I've done a few different things, and I always bring that feeling of unity into everything that I do. And so I always want to be inclusive of everyone. I always want to I always just feel like we do better as a team than whether we're apart. So I'm always trying to bring people together as much as possible, and it's worked out really well for me in all aspects of life. And so I really credit sports for that. I really credit those early mentors that I've had over the years, and people that I still, you know, talk to and trust. And biggest one is Bob Biggs comes to mind, who's he was my coach at UC Davis, and just a wonderful human being. But it just the lessons that I learned from him just by watching him were things that I take with me now and will forever.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Matt?
So before we leave the unity lessons, I think I read, Khari, that you'd have a 45-second drill in your locker room.
Mhm.
Tell the folks about that and how that helps the unity of the team.
Yeah, it's great. Well, I started a few years ago because I wanted to get to know the players, and it was just for me personally. I wanted to know who I was coaching and what they were about. And so before meetings, I would just pick a guy randomly and say, "Hey, stand up for 45 seconds. Tell us about yourself. Keep it away from football as much as possible." And it was amazing, some of the stories that came through in just this time. And it's funny because usually they would, say the normal stuff in that first 20, 25 seconds, how many brothers and sisters they had, where they were from, all of these things. And then in that last 15 to 20 seconds is where you get the real nuggets and really what they're about and really what is in their minds and in their hearts. And I felt like it brought us really all together as a team because guys just waited for it. They wanted to know about their teammates. They wanted to know about them off the field. They wanted to know that they were going through some of the same things that maybe somebody else in the team was going through. And no, I was really happy how it turned out because I started doing it with coaches, everybody. So we all just got to know each other a lot better and just brought us together even that much more.
Did you find that defensive backs in general and strong safeties in particular were the most articulate and really had the most important things to say to the team in those?
Oh, of course. I mean, defensive backs, man, they came up with the true nuggets. Yeah, just everybody was on their seat when they spoke.
All right. So tell us a cherished story from one of your teams when you realized, as you wrote in your unity story, quote, "We trusted each other so much because our coaches trusted us." Tell us a cherished story about that.
Yeah. There's so many things. I think, well, let me bring it to even to the pros. 2001. So we had a team. 2000. I just started playing for the Blue Bombers, and we had won some games and got to the playoffs. And then 2001 came, and we just got on a roll. And we ended up going 14-4 that year and winning 12 games in a row. And our coach, his name is Dave Ritchie. We would just run through walls for Coach Ritchie, and he was brilliant because he would have these speeches before games, and we wouldn't know what the heck he was talking about. He would be all over the place and talking about a king on a mountain and pulling heads down and doing all these weird things, but we just bought in. We bought in, and we were there for him. And I remember coming off of the field after throwing an interception or something, and he's had a little Cincinnati accent. He's like, "Khari, don't worry about it. You just throw a touchdown next time." And I'm like, and it just made me feel so good, just to know that he had that trust and faith in me, and he had it in everybody. And I think that's what propelled us to play the way we did and to feel as good as we did out on the field. And so, yeah, that was one of those special years.
You mentioned the phrase that we all hear, run through walls. I'd run through walls for him. One of the memories I have from football is we actually did that, right? When you start off in the season, if you're not a football player, you wouldn't realize this, but when you hit, it hurts.
Yes.
But your body actually gets used to it. You actually can really run through walls for your coaches.
Yeah, you do. I know, it's crazy. Yeah. You don't think of it in literal terms like that, but yeah. And for me, I was just getting ran into by walls. And so, so I would just get ran into and get back up and say, I can keep doing this. Yeah, exactly.
All right. So prediction time. Which of your teammates from that team or any of your other teams, which of your teammates is going to be the one that follows your lead and shares their unity story with us next?
Oh my gosh. Wow. I would say, and this is kind of a different one, but my first teammate, the guy who first got me into football, his name is Damian Williams, and he is he played football and baseball with me all through high school. My oldest friend, I've known him since I was 7 years old. Brilliant, great guy. He was a head coach at Willamette, softball. He was the softball coach at Willamette for 20 years and just recently retired from that, and is living in Oregon, living in Salem, Oregon. But I would say if there were anybody and somebody who just has a load of wisdom and somebody I talk to all the time, and yeah, just a great human being, he would be the one. And he just, yeah, he talk about unity. He is that. And so Damian.
What's his name?
Damian Williams.
Damian Williams, called out.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
I'll let him know. Don't worry.
All right, Alexis, I know you love this part.
Oh yeah, this is my favorite part of the show. All right, so Khari, I'm going to give you just a few rapid questions, okay?
Okay.
Give me an answer in about 3 to 5 seconds. First thing that pops up in your head, I got to know it, okay?
Okay.
Normally, I start easy and build up.
All right.
All right, so what other sport did you play besides football?
Basketball and baseball, 2 other sports.
Okay. What was your favorite team you ever played on? It can be at any level.
I would have to say the Larchmont A's because my dad was a coach, and we were awesome.
What is your most memorable sports moment?
Oh my goodness. Throwing a touchdown at the end of a game, 2001, to go to the Grey Cup. It was the last seconds of the game, and I was supposed to be a draw, but I ended up throwing a touchdown instead. So,
Okay. Not bad. What was the hardest lesson ever?
Hardest lesson ever.
Oh, I got you thinking. I love that right there. Right there.
Know. Hardest lesson. Okay, to be a better practice player. That was one thing that I had to definitely learn because I was mad because I wasn't getting on the field early on in my career, even at Davis and in the pros. And one of the big lessons I learned is that the coaches have to trust in you. And so you have to show what you can do in practice and not just be a game time player. And so that was a big lesson to learn.
Okay. Last question would be, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Oof. Right where I'm at. I love it. I love it. Vancouver is a beautiful place. Love Canada. I know me and my wife talk about it all the time. Maybe Hawaii, maybe. But yeah, but I like Vancouver. It's a solid spot.
All right. Do you like, I know there's like a certain dialect over there in Canada. Do you have that accent?
No, everybody still says I got my California accent, which is good. My girls, they were born in Canada. They're dual citizens, but they were born in Canada, so yeah. I can tell them. So they say certain words that I'm like, oh, you are Canadian, aren't you? And yeah.
How about you give us your best impersonation of your daughters?
Gosh. Oh.
So Khari, do it. It's your 45-second introduction in the locker room, but do it in Canadian accent.
Oh, okay. All right. Hey guys, I'm I play offense. I'm Canadian. I grew up in Saskatoon, but hey, I love you guys. You guys are great, and we just let's just go play. Let's just go have some fun, and let's just go kill it out there.
I heard a little bit in there sometimes.
I know it's hard.
I think I'm just gonna tell you. I think you just gotta keep practicing and working on it.
I do. See, see, there's so many different things because I could go French Canadian, and that's very hard because now I coach a lot Canadians, and they're difficult. Then you got the in the middle Canadians that have a different speech to them, and then out here Vancouver you don't hear it as much, so it's all over the place. Yeah, it's fun.
I got you. Well, Khari, thank you so much for having a little fun with me on the rapid questions. Before we go though, do you want to share any parting remarks or comments for our listeners today?
Yeah, I just again, I the biggest thing I want to share is, and hopefully they get it through the essay, is let's just continue to be kind to each other, and continue to find out the things that we have in common, and even be able to disagree in a way. I think that's so important, and you know, with all the divisions and things that you see in the world, just try to be an agent of love and respect, and so that's what I try to do, and it's contagious, and I think like I said, what you guys are doing is fantastic, and I'm really happy to be a part of it.
Thank you. Matt?
Awesome. Give us a minute or so on the work that you're doing to prevent suicide. That's very interesting and super important. So give us a minute on that.
Yeah, no, thank you. No, well, like I said, I'm working at, I just started as an ambassador with a place called Living Works. And so what they do is they do training for suicide prevention. They train people, and I initially went on years ago as one of their trainers, video trainers, and they still use that video to this day, and which I'm really happy about. And now they have an online program that called Living Works Start, that anyone can find, and it's not just the Canada, but it's the States. It's all over the world that they do this, and just give you the tools necessary to recognize someone who is considering suicide, and how to approach that person, and how to find help for them. And so there's some really, you know, as players and basketball, football players, we're used to having playbooks and knowing what we're supposed to do out on the field, and that's what Living Works is doing, giving people a playbook to say, hey, this is how you go about helping someone that might be thinking of suicide. So I'm really happy to be a part of it.
That's great. Good stuff. Okay, folks. Over the next few weeks, Khari is going to be responding to comments and questions and remarks from listeners to this show and readers of his Unity story. At the end of those 2 weeks, he's going to pick the person he feels was the most impacted, and he or she is going to win a free Raffru t-shirt or hoodie.
Nice.
Engage. And now, if you're hearing my voice and you were inspired by this show, please donate what you can to WYTV7. It's a wonderful 501(c) charitable nonprofit on a mission to educate, empower, and encourage. They'll use your donation well. Thank you, 17 and 14-2. It was another awesome show. Khari, you're an inspiration. I'm thrilled to have your influential voice join ours at Retired Athletes. Reading your Unity story, I loved your modesty, crediting 3 coaches to describe yourself as a head coach. Your dad, be tough but fair. Your first football coach, create opportunities for players to succeed. And your college coach, and our mutual friend, Bob Biggs, a legend from UC Davis, treat everyone with respect. Folks, you're gonna love his story. I want to thank you, WYTV7, for hosting and promoting our show so we can keep sharing stories from retired athletes like Khari, all of us working together to improve the unity of the world. A special thank you to our sponsors for the entire month of October, Zona Plus and Happy Living. Remember, the more you buy, the more I'll donate. So buy a Zona Plus today. It's good for your health. And most especially, thank you to our viewers and listeners. Go to rafru.com to read Khari's inspiring Unity story. You'll also find links to websites and social media and all things Khari Jones. Find him, friend him, discover the important work he's doing in suicide prevention, engage with him, and get that free t-shirt while you're at it. From Alexis and Khari and me, we love you and we want you to be happy and united, not divided. We do what we do at Retired Athletes for Radical Unity to inspire you to join our team and our mission to improve the unity of the world, one heart at a time. Till next time, I'm Matt Gersper. You are awesome. And this is the 14 and 41 Unity Show.
Black or white, male or female, rich or poor, gay or straight, what's the difference? Number 14 and number 41 are on a mission to improve the unity of the world, one person at a time. The 14 and 41 Unity Show.